This show, more specifically this episode, has been one of the most gratifying TV watching experiences of my adult life. It was cinematic. Like, this episode is something that you would pay a ticket to go into a movie theater to watch. And I was super pissed too before it started because HBO was crashing like crazy. I mean, there was too many people. They oversaturated the servers and so it crashed. So I had to wait like around an hour to see the episode. But you know what? I'm not even mad, all right? Because that wait was 120% worth it. Just incredible. Oh, God. I forgot how pissed off I was. You know this is going to be an episode that's top-notch quality when you have Drogon shows up. Not even 10 minutes in, Drogon shows up. Daenerys gets up on him. She starts flying around Meereen. Amazing cinematography, amazing aerial shots. And then Rhaegal and Viserion join them. And together, these almost fully grown dragons unleash an inferno on the Masters. What the like Dracarys scene? Dracarys. I have not been this excited. You know what? This is one of these episodes that come out every once in a while, kind of like Hard Home, where I seriously just want to stop doing my review and go watch the episode again. This episode is an experience. You have to experience it. You have to understand, when I was like 13 fucking years old and I watched Two Towers and Return of the King, this episode single-handedly brought back those Lord of the Ring feels. Just in that first opening section, aside from the dragons, you have the Meereen invasion, you have Tyrion trying to talk Daenerys out of like becoming like her father, right? Like the Mad King, and burning everything to the ground just because it's like something out of vengeance or out of desperation. A rage, that Targaryen madness that she has as well. So Tyrion is a really good advisor in that regard because he acts as a barrier, as a type of container for that madness. And then you have Daario coming in with the Dothraki, just cutting off the heads of the Sons of the Harpy. And that's just the intro of this episode. By the way, just another thing that played a major role in getting you immersed into the episode was the masterful use of the soundtrack. The music, it just played at exactly the right moments, and you just felt engaged with that episode. It was amazing. So, Daenerys, by the way, I love Emilia's expression. I thought they were really on point in this episode. They just kind of let you know that, yeah, she's pretty much done fucking around in Meereen. But anyway, the conclusion to this little conflict here is that they kill two of the Masters. One is left alive, and Tyrion sends them as sort of like this messenger to warn the other slave cities to not do what they did ever again, to respect the Queen's authority. You know who else was on point in this episode? Yara. That exchange that she had with Daenerys was just great. Amazing, well-written dialogue. I love when Daenerys asks her, so has there ever been a queen to rule over the Iron Islands? And Yara's like, no more than Westeros. And Daenerys just looks at her like, touche, bitch, touche. Talk about Euron coming in with a marriage proposal, and then Daenerys asks Yara, do you guys come with a proposal as well? And then Yara says, well, I don't demand, but I'm up for anything. And then lastly, this is the best quote, and like it just served to emphasize that handshake, or that, that elbow shake, whatever you want to call it, when Daenerys says, "Our fathers were evil men, all of us were," and he's including Tyrion in this, and she's like, "They left the world in a state worse than how they found it, but we will not do the same. We will leave it in a better state." And I don't care what anybody says. I thought that speech was beautiful because I think, regardless of, some level of incompetence and, that tendency towards madness that she has, I really do think that that's like what she really wants. Like deep down, that's what she wants. And not just her, but most of the characters that we're rooting for in this show that are left, that's really what they want. And then you got crazy psycho people like Ramsay, who in this episode get their jaw chewed off by a dog. Now, hear me out. I don't think I'm that cruel of a person, but hear me out. Was I the only one who felt like that wasn't enough? Like, given everything that he's done to people, I just felt that by the end of like getting eaten alive by his dogs, I'm sitting there going like, Sansa, are you sure this is... I think he got off easy. And you even see Sansa with a little smile by the end when she's walking away. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just a sadistic asshole, but I feel like there are people in the world that do so much damage that no type of death will ever be sufficient enough to pay for what they did. I don't know, that's just the way I feel. I will admit, though, that I do think that there is some sense of poetic justice in that final scene, in that it's Sansa the last person that he sees. And there's a hint of snow dropping in the background when we see Sansa, which is, I think it's a total reference to her wedding night. And I know I joked about the smile, but throughout this entire episode, man, she has like this very cocky, confident, almost sinister type of facial expression where it's like, yeah, bitch, like here you go. Like, this is no longer the Sansa that we've known for 5 seasons now. It's like, this is something, that Sansa is dead. Like, you want to talk a character who died? Sansa from season 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5 just died in this episode. And the setup for the fight was also masterfully handled. I love the conversation between Jon and Ramsay. Just Jon asking him to fight him one-on-one to prove he's a coward, to piss him off. I love Tormund throughout this entire episode. He was fucking great. When he bit the jaw of that, like, he bit off the ear. Oh, that was just great. Oh, that was amazing. And then Davos as well, he had like his little Gandalf moment there. It's the deep breath before the plunge. Even Melisandre had a great moment in this episode when she's discussing a more in-depth look at the Lord of Light. She basically just tells him, like, you might just be like a tool in the Lord's plan. So he might have just brought you back for this one moment so that you can die here or something like that. And then Jon says, what kind of God would do that? And Melisandre just replies, the one we got. And I love that, because it's like she's basically telling Jon, you don't get to decide like what the rules are for God. That's why he's God. Like, you don't get to make sense out of this shit. Like, no. And yet, when Jon goes into battle, he gets I'm talking ultra mega hacks lucky. I mean, this is a glitch in the game type of luck. He's running around with his sword. Well, first of all, he was there he was the first one to go out there because he was chasing Rickon. And by the way, the moment I saw Ramsay pull Rickon in with the rope, I thought, that's it for Rickon. He's dead. He's fucking dead. I thought he was going to be carrying his corpse, or I thought he was going to like put him on one of those crosses to flay him, honestly. And they did kind of play a little bit with our expectations. They gave us a little bit of hope as Rickon was running towards Jon, because there was like 3 arrows that missed, and you're like, oh, like, he might just make it. He might just, no. I knew he was dead. So that now makes Bran the only living male Stark that's left. And then, no, but they kind of did it, like, they went overkill with this. Because they kill Rickon, and then the rain of arrows starts pouring in. And we see his dead body get... oh, I feel bad laughing about it, but you can tell that they just did that for shock value. He already died. Let's add some more arrows into his dead body. And then after that, that's when shit really hits the fan. It gets freaking crazy. I mean, Jon activates his cheat code, and before the cavalry, the Bolton cavalry can get to him, his cavalry steps in, and it's like horses are bouncing off each other. There's shit flying everywhere. The arrows are coming down. People are flying. It's great. It's like Jon activates. He uses double team or minimize. Jon's evasion rose. Nobody's touching Jon unless they have extra accuracy. Somebody make a countdown. I dare you. Take that clip and count down how many times Jon's life was saved in that one sequence. It is insane. It's like miraculous how this happens. Like, either a horse barges in or somebody with a sword helps him out. It's crazy. And I think the reason why Ramsay released Rickon was because he wanted to get Jon out in the field, which was kind of like what Sansa was warning him, when they were, going over the plan, which, by the way, that plan went to shit right away. Like, Sansa told him, like, don't do what he wants you to do. And he did it anyway because he's Jon Snow. And after being revived, he has mad plot armor. But even then, I have to admit that scene in the pit was getting me worried. I actually thought, like, oh no, like, don't squish Jon like that. What's going on? Like, seriously, it made me feel claustrophobic. Like, what the fuck is going? That was a great strategy by the Boltons, by the way. Just to close in on these men like that. I'm pretty sure that experience is very similar to what it feels like to just drown. Like, you're basically drowning in land. And then the Vale shows up, thanks to Littlefinger and Sansa, but mainly Littlefinger. I think this was just all part of his plan. He was just waiting for the right moment, and now, technically speaking, Jon really doesn't have an army, unless, he gets the houses of the North to pledge allegiance to him. But yeah, this is just a maneuver.
This was a well-calculated maneuver by Littlefinger. There are no freebies when it comes to him, so I want to see hopefully like we'll get some insight in terms of what his end game plan is. Lastly, just a major shout out to 1-1 RIP. Seriously, he went out like a total boss. Oh my god, you broke into Winterfell like that, took so many freaking arrows, man. And then Ramsay had to be a douche. No, but is it bad that I felt more for 1-1 dying than I did for Rickon? Because I mean, at least 1-1 was putting in work. I mean, like straight up gangsta. He was splitting people in half. There's this one shot, the shot you see right here. There's a headless horseman running his way. Boom! He was a really loyal guy. That's what I liked about him. But anyway, the battle came to an end, and after Jon stopping himself from beating Ramsay to a pulp, he was going to kill him. Had it not been for Sansa, he would have killed him right there and then. Just kept punching him. I think, yeah, a couple of teeth fell out. But anyway, Winterfell is retaken. When those banners came down, and we saw the Stark's coat of arms over Winterfell once again. Oh man, that music, that Winterfell music. What can I say, guys? Amazing, brilliant episode of Game of Thrones. One for the record books. I can't believe I just watched this. I'm gonna go watch it again. Please comment with your thoughts down below. Like the review if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Catch you guys next week for the finale. Thanks again.